is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
It's fun just to see the girls and think about the team we had, how balanced we were, and then I think the whole thing too was, that same group of girls that scored at state lost to St. James by over 80 points the year before, and then we only lost them by 10.
I'll get to work in practice and try to push it to see where I can get to. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to put our team in a bad position. So if I feel like I can play and go out there and win a football game, I'll play. And if I don't feel like that's the best case scenario, I'll let guys like Carson play. I mean, he's a guy that's won in this league as well.
People are just noticing now because it's his knee and it's his bad, so they're looking at that leg. But all year long, his technique is to collapse that leg after he follows through. He doesn't, most kickers, if you watch them, they plant, they kick, and then they hop on that leg. That leg gets replaced. He keeps his foot planted, and then his knee breaks.
Yeah, and these guys are a fast starting team. These guys, their point differential in the first quarter is better than ours. And so, yeah, I think that's important.
We got another great opportunity this Thursday. We got a very good team coming here on Thursday, and we have to be at our best. And it starts, being smart with the ball, limiting those turnovers, converting on third down especially, and executing in the red zone.
Tomorrow night, the first college football playoff, which is something the sport has desperately needed. But on the other side of it, the model is breaking apart. There is so much wrong in the sport. So I've never quite seen a moment where there is so much enthusiasm and excitement, but also so much fear on the other side of whether this is going to be like the Big Bang.
Shot clock at 5. Sundell would guard 3. Won't get it. There's Lee. Put back. Yes, and 1.
Opposite side, so that was a great positioning.
These guys put a lot of hours into it, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and so I think when you have the opportunity to play in this game, I think it's a reward, number one.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It is the, we skipped yesterday. It's a Thursday show here from the Typhoid Center at 12th and Baker in Great Bend. Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson is in today, and Landon Winkler, who hasn't gone down yet, but maybe he will coming up here very soon. Anyway, thanks for joining us on the show. We just didn't have any. We were down on bodies yesterday, so we had to pull the plug on the Wednesday show. It's great to be back and having a program today on Thursday, Mike Corson.
Yeah, now we're down to 2 for the rest of the year, today and tomorrow, if nobody else gets sick.
Okay, well, keep your fingers crossed. Okay, on the program today, we're going to be all over Pratt High against Great Bend tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the matchup with head coach Kyle Cree of the Great Bend Panthers. We'll also talk about that come from behind 50-6 win over Emporia on Tuesday night. We'll also be talking with former Great Bend and current Pratt High coach Chris Batten. He'll preview tomorrow night's game, tell us more about his 4-1 Fighting Frogs. Had a chance to watch them play Cheney, a game that they probably, they could have won. They led the entire way. And they have a player, you go through the stats and, you get used to seeing Ian Premer's numbers. And so he's averaging 22 points, 10 rebounds a game. And a guy that really I don't know that much about until I started watching him play, 6'6" junior Arlie Morrell from Pratt.
Is he number 33?
Number 20.
20, oh.
Caleb Strong's number 33. Morrell is averaging 23 points, 13 rebounds a game. He already has scored 39 this year in a win over Hutch Trinity, a game that he pulled down 16 rebounds. He is a very skilled player, more finesse probably than what Ian Premer is. I can't wait for this matchup tomorrow night.
That one sounds good. Yeah, I remember when Chris came into Great Bend, replaced longtime coach Jeff Langer, and the kids were like, Sergeant Batten's here. So he was running the kids, and then go figure that year they made it to the 5A state tournament. And who's he match up against?
Yeah.
Langer's Gardner-Edgerton team. And then the other thing, I'm pretty sure Batten was coaching. He had a kid named Samson Coleman down at Pratt. Still the best high school dunk I've ever seen. Over a kid at Lions, like way out. Just not something you've seen. So Yeah, it's hard to believe he's been down there that long.
Yeah, it is. And you go back and what was that? That was 2011 or 2010 when they went to, I think it's about 2010 when they went. Yeah. Bubba Starling was on that Gardner Edgerton team as well.
Bumping his chest at us.
But the best game was after they got thumped by Hayes twice during the regular season. The Fighting Battens of Great Bend High School beat them in the sub-state championship game. So,
and I think Collegiate had like a 37-game win streak probably that first year, and he went down there and diced them up and ended that streak.
That was the El Dorado tournament.
Yes, beautiful. Still one of the best coach games I've ever seen.
We'll ask him about that season and see what he thinks about that. But, that was so that'll be fun to talk to Chris Batten again. But the move to Pratt has been quite good for him.
And one more about that 5A state tournament that year. You had Bishop Carroll there, Blake Bell. So you had a couple of professional athletes playing at that state tournament in Topeka.
So we'll talk to Chris about that. And Landon, are you ready to go? It's been, Mike's been on sabbatical here recently. So also on the show today, Mike Corson goes on the prowl for Great Bend Panther Sports. That's
strong. He's getting stronger.
He is. He's using his diaphragm really, really well. You'll be talking with Great Bend Panther boys swim coach Kerry Carper. So, yeah, here we go. All right, let's get to our sounds of the past 24 hours or so. Another award for Lyles Lashley.
Yeah, and so I had a different start to that story that you could say it was slow. So this was the 2023 season, not the season they just had, but because of you got to go through the process of getting the Kansas Coach of the Year, then it goes to the next level, then it goes to the next level. So they're just announcing the sectional coach, which is like 6 or 7 states, basically north of Kansas. So now he will be one of 8 sectional finalists to be entered into the National Coach of the Year award.
But this isn't for last year, it's for the year before, though.
The runner-up season in 2023.
You think they ought to move their process up a little bit?
The angle I took was, hey, Coach, how fun is it you get to reflect on that season 2 years later? So, yeah, it is funny. You kind of have to clarify because, granted, they were successful last year, but I think in 2013, the next year, they were not successful.
And they almost pulled it off, too.
Yeah, so you look at 2022, lost by 80 points and were 5th or 6th place. And then next year, they went in as the favorites and, just by 10 points against a team that's basically unbeatable. I told him I would email the NFHS folks and say, this guy almost beat the unbeatable National Coach of the Year.
Well, he should. Where'd those kids come from? All over the Midwest?
They do it every year.
All right, some other sounds. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes nursing an ankle injury picked up in the team's Week 15 win over the Browns. He says he's going to decide later this week if he's capable of playing on Saturday against the Texans. Okay. No restrictions in practice this week for Patrick Mahomes. He needs to be out there Saturday.
No.
Are you crazy, Corson? Really?
Load management.
No. Listen, they need to. He'll have plenty of time to rest. This is their opportunity. They've got Houston at home. Then they have a short turnaround. If you want to rest them at Pittsburgh, that's fine. Okay, because then you've got to go to Denver, your final game of the regular season. I don't know if Buffalo's going to lose. And I know the Chiefs, we went there last year and won. No, you want to go there 2 years in a row and try to beat Buffalo? No, they need to have, if he can play him right now, because if they get home field and first round bye, their first playoff game isn't going to be until January 19th.
But if you injure it further, you might not be able to get him back. I said take the extra time off. I'm not entirely sold that Carson Wentz can't win a football game.
Are you?
They've used backups all year. He's a 2016 Pro Bowl.
No restrictions. What are you going to rest him for? Get this win at home, and then you can play around. Okay, if you don't want to play him against Pittsburgh, then play him against Denver.
Maybe I was watching
the man can play.
And we don't know how bad it is.
No restrictions in practice this week.
Maybe. I saw another show that
That's
said
crazy. You've become one of these delusional Chief fans right now. We can go out there without Patrick Mahomes and win. We do it. We play without these other players, and we can go. It's not Patrick Mahomes.
All right, so I'd say he's so valuable that don't waste him because I think they're one win out. So I like the odds of them getting a win or two down the stretch.
Okay, then get the game at home, and then maybe Buffalo will, and then you've got it wrapped up. And then you could rest him for 2 weeks. But you've got to get that win in the books at home against Houston. And Houston's they haven't been playing as well, but they're a playoff team.
Yeah. I don't know what their defense is. They were supposed to be offensively
we can rest him.
good,
We'll go in there, and then we'll roll at Pittsburgh.
I don't want to come. Well, we're not going to have a show Monday. I didn't want to come in here and tell you, I told you so. So maybe we'll wait.
If he goes out and gets hurt, he gets hurt. Then you can decide what you're going to do. Yeah, play Carson Wentz.
Oh, I shudder at some of these high school scores. Like, I think Wellington was up 56-0 on the collegiate girls the other day. I'm guessing they had a star player who was still in the game. Heaven forbid she twists a knee or something. And we see that all the time. I always.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Play Patrick Mahomes. And I get the feeling that most Chief fans are like you, and they're saying the same thing. Well, we ought to rest him because we can just turn it on at any time.
Except if they lose, they'll come back and I didn't say that. They should have played him.
Of course. Of course. Dave Tobe, another injured player. The Chiefs have used 3 kickers this year. Harrison Butker was back last week. He did miss a field goal. He slipped a little bit.
Yeah, he was talking about the timing. That I used that cut because it was interesting, the mechanics of a kicker, how his are different than most other ones.
I really haven't noticed that before.
So he said, because everybody's kind of nitpicking it now, like, oh, he's still hurt. Look at the way his knee buckled. No, that's the way he kicks. But he was saying it was his fault, Coach Tobe, because he didn't tell the snapper and the holder to do something. And I'm like, they're professional athletes, Coach. I know you're falling on the sword here, but he missed a kick. Big whoop.
Hopefully that's the last one he misses this year. Okay, Sean Payton, Thursday Night Football tonight. Broncos travel to L.A. to face the Chargers. Says they need to get off to a good start because the Chargers have got off to good starts this season. Justin Herbert, big opportunity to take on the Broncos. This is a seeding game for the playoffs. I think both the Chargers and Broncos are going to be in the playoffs this year, which will be really cool. 3 teams from the AFC West. So a big one tonight in L.A.
And I'll just complain about L.A. again. You got 2 teams wearing the same colors, the ugliest uniforms in the sport, and they're on every marquee game every week. On either a Thursday or a Monday, I can't watch it. I wouldn't mind watching Denver, but I can't watch L.A.
You don't like the Chargers uniforms if they're in the powder blue? Oh, those are the best. You don't like Chargers uniforms?
No. Send them back to San Diego, put them in the Navy, get rid of that powder blue business.
The powder blue goes back to the AFL days.
I don't know. And maybe I don't like the quarterback. I don't know. The LA teams drive me nuts.
Well, it's interesting when they play at home, and they played at home against Buffalo, and Herbert's up there at the line of scrimmage, or they played the Rams, and they're trying to quiet the crowd of Buffalo fans who were making so much noise. It's kind of like going to Vegas. The other teams has more fans there than you do. It's a destination place. All right, Paul Feinbaum. College football's in a weird moment. We're getting ready for the first 12-team playoff, yet we don't know what's going to happen. He called it the Big Bang. I don't know what that means. Is the SEC is going to say, well, we just want to play our own league, and we'll have the Big Ten in there, and college football is – I'm excited about the playoffs, but I'm not – it's weird. I just don't like – I have watched less college football this year than I think I ever have. Because it's just like the professional football B league.
It is that the playoffs are only interesting because I haven't got to see Gene T play for Boise State yet. I want to see that. I've kind of gotten into Arizona State, so it is nice to see it. If they had loaded it even heavier with SEC and Big Ten, nobody would watch it except those
right.
places,
I think that's where we're looking at. If you just close out the rest of the country, interest in college football is going to go down.
A new wrinkle that it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. Cole Reif was telling me this morning, they're talking about getting rid of JUCO or junior college eligibility, aka if you go to a junior college for 2 years, it wouldn't count against your 4-year eligibility. Can you imagine? So that might incentivize more star players to go wet their feet at the junior college level, especially if they're getting paid, and then they could still have 4 years.
So we're talking about junior colleges being used as basically farm systems?
That's one take. So I guess there's a lawsuit, so it'll be curious. This thing just continues to implode, and
my interest continues to drop.
If it weren't for the bands, I think it would just be a complete bust. It's still, even watching K-State when the band is playing, when the other team has the ball.
It's college football, yeah.
Just nothing like it.
College football playoff kicks off tomorrow with Indiana playing Notre Dame. We'll have that game for you starting at 6:30 here on KVGB, and then 3 games on Saturday, and we'll have all 3 playoff games for you on Saturday as well. Coverage will begin at 11. Meantime, if you're waiting for some football tonight, we'll have the New Orleans Bowl for you. Georgia Southern against Sam Houston.
Do we know who Lashley's going for?
No. I think Landon took Sam Houston, so that's where my money's on. So
since I mentioned K-State, real quick, heartbreaker, over the weekend, DJ Giddens announced he was going to the NFL draft.
Again, and then there's another thing about bowl games.
Yeah, and so
how many players have has K-State transferred out now?
Yeah, and who was it, Marshall, that had to forfeit?
Again, take the old, to use an Old Yeller thing, it's time they took Old Yeller out and just ended it right now as far as bowl games. I mean, I know we've got a whole bunch of them, and, you got the bowl pick'em thing, and that's fun, but
the flip side is that allegedly somebody posted pictures of Travis Hunter's house out in Boulder. It's absurd. So here's a 20 or 22-year-old kid that has just a McMansion. Good for us.
Speaking of junior college football, the Hutch Blue Dragons are national champions. They beat Iowa Western last night 28-23 in Canyon, Texas, to win their second NJCAA national title in 5 years. Drew Dallas, the head coach, by getting to play in a game with such magnitude.
Haven't got to check to see where that kid the Gouldsby kid who returned the big punt, so he was most valuable player, absolutely torched every opponent on that field. So I'll be curious to see where he ends up.
And finally, our call from Learfield Sports, Brian Smoller with the call. Ioka Lee with 19 of her 34 before halftime. K-State beat New Mexico State 83-39.
They've had some crazy scores this year, and they've got a loss. So be kind of curious to see where they end up. But if Ioka can stay healthy, I know there's some really good teams out east, but nice to have one in your backyard, too.
12-1 on the season for the Kansas State women. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. All right, a lot of things coming up. Kyle Curry talking Pratt, Chris Batten talking Great Bend, and Kerry Carper talking Great Bend swimming on the Prowl. He is on it, man. I'm telling you what. Landon Winkler is becoming a tiger before our very eyes. Keep it here to Sports Day.
Extend the life of your equipment with the best warranty program and risk management tool in the agriculture industry. The Cenex Total Protection Plan covers new and used equipment. Receive up to 10 years or 10,000 hours of engine coverage when you use Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster premium diesel fuel and synthetic lubricants. With no deductible, the Cenex Total Protection Plan provides unmatched coverage to give you the power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Step into the spotlight with Barton Community College's theater program. Whether you dream of performing on stage or creating magic behind the scenes, Barton offers hands-on training, expert guidance, and creative performance opportunities. With top-tier facilities and a supportive community, you'll develop the skills to shine. Turn your passion into a career and start your journey to the stage at Barton. Learn more at theater.bartoncccc.edu.
Cine Doors Christmas message may not be original, but we hope your Christmas shines like the eyes of a child in a toy store.
I wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Papa! That's right, Hadley. I think you just did, Eddie.
Oh yeah, and have a Happy New Year to boot.
Mom, Dad, and everyone at Cine Doors prays your holidays are filled with love and happiness. We hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from everyone at C&E Doors. C&E Doors in Great Bend and Hayes.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
It's time to talk Great Bend High School basketball with head coach Kyle Cree on Sports Day.
Welcome back, Sports Day here today on a Thursday. Our show brought to you in part by the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend. Large or small, they take care of them all. The Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. And Freedom Claims Management, innovative health care plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish, and continued support. They have you covered. Joining us here on Sports Day, usually in the studio, but this is going back to like COVID days, Kyle Cree. You know, we just want to keep people away from the sickness center here at 12th and Baker. So thanks for making the phone call work today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're kind of have like an old school interview here today.
Yeah, this is going to be good. All right, you've got Pratt coming up tomorrow. Let's talk about Tuesday's win over Emporia. That's a heck of a basketball game. You come back and get a very good Emporia team with a score of 56-49. Knew it was going to be a challenge, but that may be a little bit bigger challenge than what you thought. Talk about that big win on Tuesday, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think the past 4 years, the games versus Emporia, whether we play them at home or in Emporia, it's always a challenge. So, I mean, it was something that we expected as a coaching staff, and they got some tough, hard-working kids.
Okay, you were down in the second half by 10 points. 10-0 run got you even, and then you were able to pull away after that. What changed at that point in the game, do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously we kind of switched up what we were doing on defense, so we were able to, force some turnovers or get some deflections, so that helped. And then as far as just, I think our guys just kind of, they came together. They had a little bit more excitement there in the second half, and during timeouts and everything like that, it just seemed like the guys were locked in and seemed like they had more desire.
Some big individual plays in that game. We talked about them after the game a little bit. Of course, Cooper Omot with a big steal. Ian Premer just getting offensive rebounds. Dax Minton with a big play. Talk about Isaiah Reed's play, man. 10 points in the second half. You needed every one of them.
Yeah, he's, to be honest with you, we kind of called, well, when I say we, I mean I did. I kind of called him and Ben out a little bit in our film session right before the game, and I thought both those guys responded. So it was kind of cool to go back and watch film, and it seemed like when the game was on the line there late, Zay was making plays and Ben was getting to the free throw line. So it's pretty cool to see when you got your seniors that step up to a challenge.
Isaiah had a couple of bad misses in the first half, but they kept giving him the shot, and to his credit, he kept taking it and hit two big ones in the second half. Isaiah Reed not worried to he kept putting them up even though he didn't have some luck in that first half, and he stroked two big ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that I wouldn't guard Isaiah, but I also get to see what he does every day and in the gym and in the weight room and just who he is as a person. So he's a good kid. He's got confidence, and I think he knows that I believe in him as well, and so do all the other coaches. So if anybody wants to leave Isaiah open, he's got the green light, and if he misses a couple, that's okay because, in the high school, if you're shooting 40 to 50%, you're actually failing more than you're succeeding. So if they're willing or daring enough to leave some of our guys open, we're going to shoot it.
How much confidence does your team gain? I mean, you're Jacob Hall, obviously a key member of your rotation and starters, so you had to go a little bit deeper in the bench, but you still find a way to grind out a win against a very good team.
Yeah, I mean, missing Jake, I mean, it obviously hurts and kind of affects some of our team chemistry as far as how we're moving on offense and some of the things that we're trying to do to attack them. But with that being said, we got guys that can play basketball, and I know Jake sitting on the bench, he misses it a ton, but he's super supportive, and we've got guys, we've got more guys than just Jake and Ian, and the guys that everybody sees on Friday night. So we got other guys that are eager to play and willing to step up if they get a chance.
All right, Ian Premer, we had him for 17 rebounds, double-double, his third of the year. He was grabbing everything for your team.
Yeah, he's a warrior, and obviously I'm biased and want to do what I can to protect him. But he plays through a ton of contact. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if your average everyday person could go in there and get beat up and play through it like Ian does. I think most people would probably lose their composure and want to start fighting people. But he does a great job. He gets hit a lot. He doesn't get a lot of calls, and he just keeps playing. So I think that side of Ian is something that's also special outside of him just being a great teammate and a stud athlete.
Dialed up a play for Cooper Omont coming out of a timeout that he was wide open for a three-pointer and drained it. Talk about that play at a key moment of the game that put you in the lead, and then you ended up surging ahead and closing that game out.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of shows how coachable our guys are and how much we believe in each other. Not only do the guys believe in themselves, but I think they believe in the plays that I'm going to draw up for them. And, I think Ian deserves a little more credit, too, because, I mean, he's the man. There's no doubt about it, but he's also a willing passer. So when he caught that thing, he was looking for Coop the whole time. And, as a teenage kid, I don't think at any moment he was thinking, I'm gonna take this shot and try to do it myself. So, and then Coop just to knock that thing down. I mean, he's a good shooter. He's got great form, but it also takes a lot of mental toughness to get out there and take a shot like that and kind of put the nail in the coffin.
Okay, tomorrow night you get Pratt on the road, and watching them play the game against Cheney, very entertaining high school basketball game. Pratt leading most of the way on the road at Cheney, and they've got a good basketball team. They're off to a 4-1 start. How'd this matchup come together? I think it's the first time they've played. Great Bend and Pratt have played since 2011.
Yeah, I mean they're a 4A school and only an hour away, so I think for both of us it kind of just makes sense. I know there were some other options, maybe to drive to Topeka or Kansas City, but I think it just makes sense so our fans and our families can be there to watch and support, and they've got a good culture and a good tradition as far as athletics and winning. So, and I'm not sure if they're ranked, but I would guess for boys basketball they're probably ranked in 4A. So, I mean, it's really a no-brainer for us to play each other.
Yeah, a heck of a matchup here to close out the first semester. They're number 10 in Class 4A this week. Thoughts on their team? You guys got to start with Morrell in the middle, man. He's got a 39-16 game this year, earlier this season. And, boy, he really stands out. A 6'6 player, kind of a finesse player inside. But, man, I was very impressed with him. Your thoughts on their big 6'6 post?
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud, and like you said, he's got good touch, and he's got a good feel on the inside, so he's not like your stereotypical 6'6 guy that's going to throw it hard off the backboard and kind of be all over the place. He's got good body control. He's pretty coordinated. He does a good job of getting others involved, and you said something about his 39 and 15 game or 14 game. He rebounds at a very high level, so he does a good job working for position on the inside, and then if he's out on the perimeter, he crashes. So we're definitely going to have to account for him.
Yeah, it's one of those matchups. Kind of get excited because he and Ian are going to be guarding each other different times during the game. It's one of those matchups that people that enjoy high school basketball ought to look forward to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it, and I think, there's going to be times when they're matched up together, but we're going to have other guys guard him and try to do some things where they switch quite a bit. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a battle between two post guys, but I think for us as a coaching staff, I think we can use some of our other guys to look for some mismatches and do things that are in our favor.
What are some other things stand out about Pratt, the team you'll see tomorrow?
I mean, I think they run a lot of stuff offensively, so they run some good things. They have a lot of good, actions and things that we'll look at today that we're going to have to defend, and they play extremely hard. they're going to get after it. They're maybe not as big as Emporia, but they're kind of fearless when it comes to defense, and they're definitely fearless when they shoot 3-point shots.
This is a good game to end the first semester on, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a good challenge and a good test to kind of see where we're at before everybody takes a 7-day break and we kind of all let our minds and bodies heal and just step away from basketball for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that we could have scheduled a better game and just something to test our guys and our program.
Okay, Kyle, I appreciate you spending some time with us today, and we will see you down at Pratt tomorrow for the Greenbacks and the Panthers.
All right, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
All right, thanks, Kyle. That's Kyle Cree, head coach of the Great Bend Panthers, with us on
From the
Sports Day
Morning Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today we want to give a shout out to all the supporting cast at these basketball games. We have some great young men and young women on the court, but we also have some great young men and women playing their instruments, cheering, dancing, all those things. Let's clap for them. When they perform and get done, let's show them a round of applause, show them some love as well, because they deserve it. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Cine Doors' Christmas message may not be original, but we hope your Christmas shines like the eyes of a child in a toy store.
I wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Papa! That's right, Hadley. I think you just did, Eddie.
Oh, yeah, and have a Happy New Year to boot.
Mom, Dad, and everyone at Cine Doors prays your holidays are filled with love and happiness. We hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas from everyone at C&E Doors. C&E Doors in Great Bend and Hayes.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on KVGB. On the Thursday show, we're still trying to hook up with Great Bend. Well, it used to be Great Bend Panther basketball coach Chris Batten, and now the head coach of the Pratt High Greenbacks. They take on the Great Bend Panthers tomorrow night in Pratt. 2 teams that are both ranked. Pratt ranked number 10 in Class 4A. The Great Bend Panthers are ranked number 10 in Class 5A. Both teams come into the game with 4-1 records. So the Panthers, hopefully we'll hook up with Chris here in just a little bit, and we can talk to him about Pratt's basketball team. It's very, very good. I had the opportunity to watch them against Cheney. That was a good basketball game. Pratt leading all the way. In fact, jumped to an early 9-point lead, held Cheney at bay the rest of the game until about the last 4 minutes when Cheney was able to come back and get that victory. That game tomorrow night in the Western Athletic Conference will be one of 3 on the books, as Hayes will play at Manhattan tomorrow night, and Dodge City will be at Lincoln in boys and girls action. High school basketball rankings are out, the new ones. These will be the final rankings before the next rankings will be out on January 7th. We'll look at the boys first, and again, Great Bend number 10 in Class 5A. Other area teams, Pratt number 10 in 4A. The Sterling boys, we saw them down at Kingman last week. They are number 2 in Class 2A this week. Mound Ridge number 1. 1A Division 1, the Central Plains Oilers holding steady at number 5 this week. Maxville with 1 loss. They dropped to Spearville. They are number 7 in 1A Division 1. And 1A Division 2, Dighton is number 6, Hodgman County number 8, and the Otis Bison Cougars showing up in the rankings this week in 1A Division 2. Hang on just a second. Okay. Girls rankings. 3A girls, Heston number 1. In 3A girls, Halstead number 2, Haven number 3. So the Central Kansas League with 3 of the ranked teams in Class 3A. Hayes is number 5. So the Hayes girls move up to number 5 in Class 5A. Hillsboro number 2 in 2A girls. So there you have another Central Kansas League team. St. John number 5 at 1A Division 1. And Central Plains number 7 in 1A Division 1 girls basketball. And we checked the 1A Division 2 poll for the girls, Hodgman County checking in at number 8. Now I believe Chris Batten joining us here on the phone. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing all right. So you just too busy educating people right now. I appreciate that. Appreciate you fitting some time in here. I guess this is one of the things, Chris, time flies. You start looking back. Boy, I'm going to want to talk to him about that state tournament team that the Panthers had, and then look back. That was a few years ago, my friend. Goes back.
Yeah. Goes 9-10, something like that.
Yeah, 9-10, and that was a pretty cool season. A lot of things happened, but the thing that stood out for me was those 2 early losses to Hayes. They thumped you pretty good. I think it was a championship game of the Hayes City Shootout, and then you beat them in the sub-state championship game. Certainly, I know you probably remember that game. What are some other fond memories of that team that you have from that year?
Oh, that was a fun team to coach. There was a game against Hutch High, and they had Gino Grissom, who ultimately played at OU, played in the NFL, and we didn't have anybody over really 6 foot on that team. Between Austin Zamaripa and Bill Sear, those were our 2 bigs, and they were maybe 6 foot, 6'1", and Austin put on a defensive clinic that night up front in the post and just working, and then the rest of the team surrounded him on the backside and made his life miserable. And so it's just that was a group that, man, they worked hard and really got after it. Fun group. Another kind of weird thing that happened that year, or cool thing that happened that year, Alan Holt tore his ACL in football, and then came back during the Emporia game and hit a 3 to help put us over the top, because we were just struggling against their zone, and he was barely released. He couldn't hardly move. And I looked at him, I said, "Hey, can you go hit a 3?" And he said, "Yeah, I got you." And we knew we had to play zone at that point with him in the game, and sure enough, he hits a 3 and kind of gets us going, and I think Logan got to the rim a couple times after that. And so, yeah, just a real fun group. And then, it ends with playing Langer in the state tournament and how all that played out, and, just kind of a crazy year, crazy ride. But, yeah, definitely a fun group to coach.
Was that the year that you beat Collegiate down in El Dorado, too? Or was...
Yeah, it is. Yeah, broke their 37-game winning streak.
Yeah. Put Fiegel, on notice. So, get out of here, Mitch. You're on here. You cocky guy coming in here. Wow, that goes back a ways, and a fun team. And it's kind of weird. It seems like just yesterday you're here, but 2016, your last year, and then you went to Pratt. And, boy, Pratt's been a good fit for you and your family, it looks like.
Yeah, it has. we really like the town and the community. It's been good for my kids, you know, and we're just a hop, skip, and a jump from Wichita if we ever need anything. So, you know, that's always been nice. And, you know, I love my position as a career and college counselor, and just getting to help kids with that and helping them make decisions. That's been a real a blessing for me, and you know, being able to do that and help impact lives in that way. And so, you know, it's been a good change, but definitely some fond memories of Great Bend and all the things that was done there.
I also had to look up, said, when's the last time Pratt and Great Bend played? Let's go back to the old WCKL days. No, it was when you were the coach at Great Bend. Bad time to play Pratt, though, because they ended up fourth in the state that year. I think they won like 22 games. But so this is a good matchup. How did this matchup this year come about?
Well, to be real honest with you, I knew we had Arley coming up, and I knew that Great Bend, you know, was full of athletes and with the Premer kid, and so it was one I kind of went into my AD and just said, hey, we need this matchup because you know, I want Arley to be challenged, and I know the Premer kid's going to do that tomorrow night, and I know that they've got great guards and athletes all across the board. You know, I still follow Great Bend. I watch them play football. I watch them play basketball, and you know, I knew just watching like the Omok kid play football. I'm like, man, that kid, he's athletic and he's special, and you know, and I want our kids to be challenged by that because we've got bumped out of the sub-state the last couple of years by, you know, physical play and just maybe seeing something that we don't necessarily get to always see in our league. And so, you know, that was something that I wanted to you know, see where we're at and get a feel for where we need to go.
Well, you know, I'm kind of old school. You probably figure that, just looking old in the name. So you know, basketball to me is kind of turned around. It's just either dunk or a 3-point shot. And then I watched your game with Cheney and I was on the edge of my seat the whole way. That was a heck of a high school basketball game, one that I know you probably thought you probably should have got a win out of there. You led the entire way. But, man, that was a heck of a high school basketball game, and you hooked up with fourth-ranked Cheney. Yeah, it was. You know, that was a game where I felt like we played well for the most part throughout the game. And then when you go back and watch film, we had a 45-second stretch that just cost us. And, you know, they hit a couple big shots. We made a couple turnovers, and pretty soon we're on the losing end of that. And so, you know, again, that was another contest that I wanted, and I was glad we got to play in because it let us know where we're at. And you know, it's like I told the kids, we're on the cusp, but we're not quite there yet. And we've got to start putting some things together to get us over that hump. And ultimately, the end goal is in February, and being able to, you know, win sub-state games that are just like that. All right. So, you know, I kind of looked at these audacious numbers that Premer puts up. You know, he comes in, he's averaging 22 points and 10 rebounds. And then I'd look at Arley Morrell, 23 and 13. He already has a 39-point game, almost broke the school scoring record, 16 rebounds. I watched this kid. Tell me about Arley Morrell. What a gifted young man. He is. He's a really good athlete. He's got a knack for the basketball. You know, he plays the game the right way. And you know, he's a hard worker. He's been putting in a lot of time over the summers and really developing his game. And you know, he has aspirations of doing something at the next level. He's getting some football looks here and there. And you know, if basketball would work out, I think he would love that. But you know, just a great young man, and really he plays the game the right way. I tell you, you know, he's not about himself either, and I really appreciate that about him. You know, he does a lot to get other guys involved, and just kind of takes the game as it goes, and you know, he's definitely a big time leader on our team. Not often you get a game like I'm pumped, Coach. And it's not because, you know, there's two good teams out there. I want to see Morrell and Premer hook it up a little bit. That's big time matchup coming up tomorrow night.
It is, and I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for both kids, honestly. Just to see that type of competition, and you know as well as I do, the schedule that Great Bend plays is amazing. And those kids have to be ready for just about anything, and the type of teams they play, and so. I think it's going to be great for both teams, and it was definitely something that I thought that win or lose for us, it's going to be a win because we're going to see a team that is going to get after us. We're going to see a team that's very physical. We're going to see a team that's athletic, and they've got length. When you look out there and you've got Nicholson at 6'6", and you got Premer at 6'6", and a plethora of guards that are at 6'1", 6'2", that's going to be great for us, and hopefully those two get to play and go at it a little bit, but ultimately it's going to end up being a team game, and so we got to be ready for that.
Caleb Strong, another good player for you guys. I really like your guards, Chris.
Yeah, at the guard position, we have to remind ourselves we're still young there in a lot of ways. Even with a couple of our seniors, they're more baseball kids and haven't really played a ton of basketball. Grant's played a ton, but like Owen really hasn't, and so our guards are young. But yeah, Caleb, he stepped up last year for us a lot, and in some crucial situations, and he's a kid that can really get out there and guard and plays defense really well, and then offensively he's skilled, and he's capable of knocking down some big shots for us, and it's crazy because last year, we had Clay Center here at home in Substate, and we were on the verge. We were down at halftime. We were on the verge of getting bounced in the first round, and brought in two freshmen at the time, and somehow we make a comeback, and a lot of it was because of their defensive presence, and so got some guys that are really just bought in and want to get after it, and so I think that's definitely a reason why we're where we are.
Okay, help me figure this family tree out here, because you have assistant Tyler Strong, who, by the way, the legendary Jerry Strong, who was the legend, and I saw him play at Isabel when the Isabel Vikings were like, oh yeah. So there's two Strongs here, Caleb Strong and then Colin Strong. So which do they belong to him, or how's this family tree work here?
Yep. So they're brothers, and Tyler's their dad. Both very, very different kids. Colin is he's a football offensive tackle, and he's going to go throw the shot put in college. He's about a 58-foot shot putter right now, and hoping to break the 60-foot mark this year. That's his goal. And then Caleb on the flip side of that is more of a baseball basketball type kid, and good pitcher, and started center field for our baseball team last year that finished state runner up, and so. A couple of great kids, but definitely, Tyler is their dad, and so it's quite the family tree.
Well, I was going to say, I thought maybe Caleb was like a cousin or something. I mean, because Colin looks like Dad. All right, I'm just going to tell you, he built like a rock. So all right, this is going to be.
Caleb is more like his uncles.
Okay, all right.
He got more of kind of the Ricky side of that family as far as like uncles and build, but Colin's the enforcer, and Caleb's the one that has to go with the flow maybe a little more.
So there's Ricky blood in that?
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
The legend, those names from the Sharon, the Sharon Cardinal days. Okay, and I'm dating myself big time right now. All right. Quick thoughts on this matchup tomorrow night, Chris?
Hey, it's going to be a great game, and I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be two really good basketball teams going at it. You're gonna get to see two kids hopefully play at a high level, and just I think it's going to be great for both teams. Honestly, I think it's kind of an early season matchup that you definitely want, and so we're gonna give it our best.
All right, Chris, anytime we have a chance to sit down, I can talk about Isabel Vikings, Sharon Cardinals, probably the Byers Hornets, and the Colosan Owls. I could give that to you, but no one knows those towns even had schools anymore. So, hey, man.
Exactly.
Hey, Chris, thanks so much. We'll see you in Pratt tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks, Webby.
All right. That is head coach Chris Batten, head coach of the Pratt Greenbacks here on Sports Day.
Jumpstart your education with Barton Online. You can pick up a class or earn an associate degree for less than half the cost of a university. We are always enrolling. Start when it works for you. Choose from 5 sessions throughout the semester, including 16, 8, and 4-week options. Save big on the way toward your career or tackle your gen eds with our low-cost pathway. Visit online.bartonccc.edu and enroll today.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by Panther swim coach Kerry Carper. Coach apologized for Christmas music back-to-back weeks, but trying to keep it festive.
No, I like Christmas music, so it's all good.
Yeah, one of the last shows before Christmas and the New Year, so thanks for joining us once again. Talk about Panther swimmers. Writing up the results this week from Hutchinson, I thought there were some tremendous time drops in the relays and some of the other races. How much are these kids improving early in the season?
Kind of like we talked about last week, I've got a super young group of guys that are inexperienced, so there's lots of room for time improvements. And it happened in Hutch. We had some major time improvements from most of the guys in several different events. Every day at practice, we talk about something new. I add some new technique into them. We tweak what we've practiced. And these guys, they're listening and they're applying, and it's showing in the meets.
As a coach, what does that mean to you? We're talking 31 seconds in some of these races, 35 seconds. What's that mean as a coach to know whatever you're doing is working?
It's exciting because when you get young guys like this, it's just you don't know what you're getting into, and you don't know how they're going to perform at meets. And these guys continue to impress me, day after day, meet after meet. They're improving every time we go out. So I'm super excited to see what comes at the end of this year, and then I'm really excited to see what these freshman boys can do by the time that they're seniors.
Yeah, I was saying, as an athlete, you always want to see progress. So a coach tells you what to do, and all of a sudden you're 35 seconds under your seed time. What does that do on the athlete side?
They were pretty pumped up yesterday at practice. We had a hard time focusing and stuff at practice yesterday because they were so excited about how they performed, at the meet on Tuesday. And then, they're excited to go out and do it again tomorrow.
And let's talk about some of the competition. Great Bend got 8th at Hutch out of 9 teams, but it's a young team, and you're going up against, I'm guessing, some state qualifiers from the likes of Buhler, Salina, Garden City. So what's it like for your kids to get in the water, knowing they're probably not going to be in the mix for gold, but they're improving?
We've had lots of conversations, and especially going into that Hutch meet, we're swimming around a lot of Wichita schools, and they have some really competitive club teams. So a lot of these guys that they swim with swim year round 2 to 3 times, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day. They're in the weight rooms every day. So we just talk about, we're just going to go out and we're just going to race for Great Bend. And our goal this year is just going to be to improve those times to the best that we can improve them. We're not going to worry about placing. We're just going to worry about getting better every time we're in the water. And so far, that's what these guys are doing.
Talking to Panther swim coach Kerry Carper. Let's throw out some names here. So like the 400 free relay, that's Kale Murmas, Matthew Williams, Mark Sperling, Jordan Sander. See those names a whole bunch in a whole bunch of races. Just how big is repetition with getting them in their 4 races each meet?
Yeah, and it's big because especially in some of those longer distance races and even the sprints, your muscles have to learn what to do and how to perform under those conditions. So the more we can get them in those races, the more the muscle memory kicks in, and the more they're able to think about what they're doing and not have to focus so much on the little things.
And Mark was part of that relay. They were 14 seconds under their seed time, and he was 35 seconds under his 500 free time. So huge improvements there. Let's see. So you guys are going out to Garden City to close out the year today. What, especially with a young team, coming into swimming is always tough to get that conditioning. How big is this extra break for the swimmers going into 2025?
It's going to be tough to come back from just because we have the winter moratorium that KSHSAA imposes, so we can't practice again until practice tomorrow, and then we're out of the water until the 27th. So taking that week off, they can lose a lot of ground that we've gained. So, when you come back on the 27th, we're going to hit it hard, and practices are going to be tough because we've got to get all that back in a very short amount of time because our next meet is January 9th. So we're going to have to work hard to get back what we've gained so far this year, but I'm confident that these guys are going to be able to do that.
So going out to Garden City today, seeing some of the WAC schools, going to see those kids a lot throughout the season. How big just to kind of close out 2024 with some familiar competition?
We've talked a lot about we've set some goals. We know that we're not going to be able to beat Garden City this year. They're super strong. Hayes is super strong, so we've got our eyes set on Dodge City. They've beat us the last two meets by 30 to 40 points, so we've got our eyes set on those. And our goal today is going to be try to get that gap closed between them. We're going with 5 less guys today, so we're taking a super small team due to finals. So it'll be fun to see what these guys can do and how close we can get to Dodge City today.
Great Bend High School swim coach Carrie Carper, thanks for joining us again, and look forward to seeing more of those time cuts as the season progresses.
Thank you.
Good luck today, and happy holidays to you and the guys.
You as well. Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Yeah, Sports Day also brought to you by Equity Bank, adding value for their customers and communities. Find out more at equitybank.com and by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. Good stuff on today's show. Yeah, looking forward to that matchup tomorrow night. Arlen Morrell, highly skilled player. It's going to be fun to see him play, and a big challenge for the Great Bend Panthers, taking on another team that is ranked, Pratt number 10 in 4A, and the Panthers number 10 in 5A. Also tomorrow, around the area, some cool schools. I mentioned Otis Bison. They're ranked in 1A Division II. They're at home against La Crosse, the War on 4 tomorrow night. Ellis at Ellenwood. TMP at Central Plains. Maxville plays at Stafford. Kiowa County at St. John. Ness City at Kinsley. Chase at Victoria. Pawnee Heights at Spearville tomorrow night. And Larned is at home tomorrow night. The Indians will host the Kingman Eagles to close out the pre-Christmas portion of their schedule. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.